Hello, hello. My name is Kim, and this is a yoga practice that I am preparing and recording for my Karma Yoga teacher training hours. And this practice was inspired by one of my best friends. She asked me to do something that just brought a feeling of freedom and into the hips, but also some space in the abdomen. So really kind of focusing on this intention of maybe the balance that is needed to have change. And a lot of times when we think about change and transformation, it is very much fueled by fire, and it can be very action based. But we're going to actually do a yin yoga practice because a lot of times with action, we have to also balance it with rest. And that way we can start to make clear, calm, and empowered decisions after we've taken just a little bit of time to slow down the acceleration and then remembering that, as we move forward in our lives and the changes and transformation that we're looking to seek should make us happy. This should be a time of, feeling joyful and grateful and just at peace with all the things that are going on in our lives. So just may all that we do truly bring us this feeling of just being happy. So that's what we're going to tap into today. So this practice will be approximately an hour long, and I have got with me 2 blocks, a folded blanket, and a bolster. But if you don't have a bolster, a pillow would be a great alternative, or you could use a second folded blanket or even a big towel, like a beach towel or something. So we just want to find a few things today that can help support our body a little bit so that we can let our bones relax. So as we come into each of these poses, we're going to hold them for approximately 3 to 5 minutes each. And we're just going to remember our intention to bring balance so that we find the energy that is needed for healthy change that makes us happy. So let's begin. We are going to start today on our back. And so I've got my bolster long on the mat. And I'm going to take my folded blanket and I'm also going to lay that over the top and maybe even actually fold up my blanket one more good time to put it at the top of my bolster so that as you turn away from the bolster, you've got the bolster right at the base of the tailbone. We're going to bring our blocks, maybe one in each hand, and go ahead and butterfly the knees open. And we're going to take the blocks and at any height that feels right for you. And you can use the blocks maybe underneath your ankles or your knees or your thighs. We're going to support the outer legs with the blocks in this supported Supta Baddha Konasana. So begin to recline back. And we want the bolster or the pillow to support the spine. We want the folded blanket to support the head so the head is not dropping way far back. We almost want the head just elevated above the heart, maybe in a diagonal line. And the outer legs are supported by the blocks. And we could probably go into this pose without the blocks on the outer legs. But because we're going to hold this for a little bit extra time, I find that it's best to not go to your deepest edge right away. And kind of like the feeling that we get in restorative yoga, where there's that natural deepening, almost like a creeping of relaxation as we hold these poses for a little bit of time. So let's just relax here and maybe let your arms open out a little bit. You can open up your palms and just really opening up the abdomen and the pelvis here. And this pose always feels so good to just relax into. And just closing down your eyes if you like, or softly rest your gaze at a point above you. Let's just let the wave of Ujjayi breath begin to just send that feeling of relaxation up and down the torso. Letting your jaw unhinge and relax a little bit. Just think about as you breathe in, breathing all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis. And as you breathe out, you feel your belly release. You're inhaling to the bottom and exhaling to the top. And let this be a practice of non-doing. Just be here now. Let's take just maybe another minute or so here. come out of this, we're going to just bring our feet to the ground nice and slow. You can slide those blocks over to your side. So we'll slide them out of the way. And then gently roll to your side and come off of your bolster or pillow setup. Just come up nice and slow. And just stretch your legs out in front of you. And pause in a neutral spine. The next thing we're going to do is a supported bridge pose. This is really wonderful to massage around the sacrum, all those little nerve endings that can trigger sciatica, some low back pain. So let's give that area a little bit of love, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of options. So start by taking your bolster and pillow over to the side. Okay, you might unfold your blanket out a little bit so it's back in kind of its usual folded setup. Okay. All right, now go ahead and lay on your back. We're going to bend the knees with feet on the ground. Okay, so depending on what feels best for you, option one is to take your block on the flat, low setting. We're going to press into the feet, and we're going to slide that block underneath the sacrum, which is that low, flat area of the spine. You shouldn't feel, if it's too high up, it's going to feel like it's on your lumbar spine. There will be a big arch in the back, and that is not where we want it. If it is too low, you're going to feel almost like your lumbar spine is now concaving down to the ground, which again is not where we want it. We want it just right above the buttocks on that low flat area on the back, so that when we rest our hips on that block, we feel supported. It feels good. It feels like we can sustain it for a little bit of time. The other option is you can always, instead of using your block, you can slide your bolster, your pillow, or your blanket underneath the sacrum. And it's probably going to be a little bit more cushy. So, but still, we will still get in the goodness that we're trying to get here through the support of the props in bridge pose. So you can decide which of the props feels the best to support your sacrum. This is a nice, gentle back bend. It should feel really, really calming and grounding. And I like to just open the feet out a little bit wider than I would normally practice bridge pose. So when we practice bridge pose, usually our feet and knees are in line with the hips. But I'm not going to let my knees drop out at an angle. I'm going to keep my toes pointing forward and my knees just kind of in a neutral pointing forward position, but I might just widen my feet just an inch or so that I have a little bit wider base, and you can let your arms come down by your side. You can even open your arms out a little bit. So we still want to maintain some good alignment in the hips and the low back while feeling a little bit more supported. So see what adjustments you need to make to come into it. And we are going to hold this for about 3 to 5 minutes. And maybe while you're here, I want you to just let your breath be free. Okay, so no holding of the breath, maybe even no shallow breath or trying to control it too much. Just let your body breathe all on its own. And think about what makes you happy. And I don't mean things that you have to go out and buy or acquire, because sometimes then that can open up thought or idea of ego or of action that you need to take to get there. I want you to think about the simple things, like the little things in life that money can't buy, but that are so rich. Maybe it's your favorite color. Or maybe it's how the sun rays pierce through the clouds as it's rising. Or the smell of rain. I find that nature is a wonderful source to tap into this energy. But maybe it's just even thinking about the feeling of a good neck hug with your partner or your child. I mean, when your pet curls up in your lap. Just think about these small moments that mean so much, that bring so much happiness. Yin yoga is such a wonderful time to really slow down. And it just helps to balance out the acceleration that gets trapped in the nervous system. I feel like a little bit of stress is actually good for us. It helps us to be motivated, helps us to propel ourselves, out of a rut when we've been in some sort of emotional or mental rut, physical rut even. So just tapping into this feeling of equilibrium. We're almost done here, so just seeing what this shape in your body has to offer as far as sensations or thoughts that may come up. And we can see these feelings and thoughts as just little messengers for us to learn about ourselves, about the world. So we're going to press into the feet. You're going to activate into the feet to lift the hips up. We're going to slide the hips off, slide the block from beneath the hips and roll them very slowly. Now we're going to come to a neutral spine and just pause here. We're just going to pause. Now go ahead and widen out your feet just a little bit more and drop your knees to center. Let's open up the arms just for a little counter pose. Let's windshield wiper the legs side to side. Oh yeah. And I always feel a little bit of warmth or a circulation of just awareness or this presence of energy around the sacrum after I've come off a block in that long supported bridge pose. This feels really good. From here, we're going to bring both knees into the chest. And we're going to bring our hands underneath the knees. And lift your heels up over the knees. We're going to pull the knees and feet wide. And we're just going to come into a happy baby pose. Now, we're not going to hold this one for 3 to 5 minutes because I think it's a little hard to sustain. But let's hold it for maybe 1 minute. So you can continue to hold behind your knees, pulling your knees towards your shoulders. So it's almost like we're in a squat on our back. Or if it's okay for you and there's no force, you can reach up and grab onto the edges of your feet and just continue to lay back into your head with your chin slightly down and the tops of the shoulders soft. So you can decide which of these variations is good for you to hold it for about a minute. And again, we're just going to breathe. Smooth, long, just cleansing breaths. Now go ahead and let your feet lower to the ground. And again, we're just going to come back to that neutral position. Feet on the ground, knees bent, arms by your side. And just pause for a moment. So from here, we're going to transition slowly. You can roll maybe to your left side, but we're going to roll to our side. We're going to come to our hands and knees. You can face whichever direction feels right for you on your mat. I know watching a video sometimes the top and bottom of the mat can sometimes get flipped around a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm just going to flip over. We're going to come to our hands and knees. This is going to be a great time to go ahead and bring your blocks with you out onto the mat. We're going to come into our lizard pose. So let's step forward with our right foot first. We're going to bend into the right knee directly over the ankle. We've got both hands on the blocks. And then just inch back into your left knee a little bit. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So you can stay on your hands. You are welcome to lower down to your elbows onto your blocks at any height. You can, sometimes it feels good if it's too much for the hands and the wrists. You can stack your forearms over your right thigh, just towards the knee, and drape your hands down. And we're just going to let the hips melt a little bit here, okay? So let's take 3 minutes here. And in yin, this is sort of a dragon pose. And, you know, there's whichever variation we're taking with it. And the way that I interpret that is that this seems like a very easy pose at first, but again, it's kind of like that natural deepening And we really start to almost be faced with resistance and maybe with thoughts or feelings that may feel a little negative or shadowy. So what I like about this pose is that we get a chance to approach those feelings with softness. And we get to practice here on our mat because as we go into our daily life, especially when we're trying to make some changes, there will be some things that come up that we have to face, that we don't want to. But we can use this time and we can remember it. Because I feel like if we can make it through this, we can make it through anything. Just relax into it. Find the place where you can commit to that appropriate depth. You can be still and hold it for this time. So right now we're already halfway through. You should feel a big stretch in the left psoas. It starts about the side of the abdomen, to the side of the navel, and it extends down through the pelvis. It actually attaches in the back of the pelvis, so it's a big, long muscle. We hold a lot of stress here. Just a few more breaths. Let's come out of this very slowly. Maybe bringing your hands up back to your blocks if you've been stacking the arms, or down on the elbows. We're going to push into the hands, shift back into the hips, and straighten the right leg. And just make that movement a couple of times. Just maybe inhale, lunging into the right knee, and exhale, shifting back, straighten the leg. Feel that stretch behind the knee and the hamstrings. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's go to the other side now. So bringing our left foot forward, you can take your blocks now over to the right so that both hands come from the inside of the left foot. We just want to start with that left shin perpendicular to the ground. And then inch back into the right knee, because remember that we don't want to go to our deepest edge right away. It does become hard to sustain it as we hold it for some time. If you feel like the pose is inviting you in and you can go deeper, then you're welcome to walk that right knee back even further. And you can decide what feels the best for you on this side. It may be different than the first side. That's perfect. So you can stay on the hands. You can lower the height of your blocks. You can come down to your elbows. Or stack your forearms at the top of the left leg, just towards the knee. Draping the hands, soft shoulders. Find your spot. Let's hold it for 3 minutes. And maybe you need to soften into your teeth or your jaw, your eyes. Just approaching whatever arises with softness. And one way that we can bring softness into some of these intense poses is by letting out those audible sounds. It's like this audible release of tension, tightness. Almost there. Over halfway. Coming out slowly by bringing your hands back to the blocks. We're going to use the hands. Gently shift back, straighten the left leg. Just moving in and out of it, just for that rebound. It's intense. It's like we almost have to counter some of these deep stretching just with a little bit of movement. So just inhale as you bend into the knee, and exhale. Straighten and fold down. So now let's come back to our hands and knees. This time, we're going to, you can keep your knees underneath the hips. You can have some space between the toes or bring the toes to touch. We're going to sink the hips down to the heels like child's pose. We're going to take these blocks and we're just going to stretch the blocks out just a little bit, and we're going to support the elbows with the blocks. And just let your head soften down, down, down. Just take a moment here with the elbows lifted up off the ground in child's pose. Let's just take 2 or 3 more breaths, a little bit of active child's pose here. And see if you can extend the breath into the sides of the lungs. And then go ahead and lift your head. 1 arm at a time. We're going to take the arms off of the blocks, and let's set one of those blocks over to the side. And we're going to now bring our arms to the ground, and our forehead is going to rest on the block. However, if this feels too deep, it's too deep of a bend in the knees, you can always take that folded blanket and just maybe lay it over your calves and support behind the knees so there's less of a bend. You can see what feels right for you there. But, or if it's also too deep with your elbows on the ground and your forehead on the blocks, you can absolutely keep your elbows and your arms supported by the blocks and just stay lifted in the chest and the belly. Okay. So really what we're trying to get in here is a little bit of flexion in the hips. So just see what feels right for you today, in this moment. And think about breathing in to the bottom of the belly and breathing out to the top of the lungs. Almost there. Come up nice and slow. Go up to the hands and knees. You can set your props over to the side. Let's make some movement in the hips. Maybe some sway side to side. Make some big circles down to the heels and up and back around. Come into pigeon pose or a sleeping swan version. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring my bolster out onto the mat, and I'm going to take my folded blanket. I'm going to put that over my bolster. So I'm just creating a little cushion. So from the hands and knees, I'm going to slide my right knee to the side of that setup. And I'm going to bring my foot just underneath the left hip and begin to lengthen back into the left leg. I'm going to make sure that bolster is right up underneath the abdomen. We're going to lay down. And you can turn your head whichever direction feels right for your neck. But I like to have a balance. So maybe for this side, let's actually turn our head to the right so that we're turning the head towards the bent knee. And just lay down here. We'll be here for just a little bit of time. Very slowly lift your head, walk back into the hands. And the way that we will just counterpose this is to roll to the right hip. Let's slide that set up just a little bit forward so that we can bring the back knee in slowly. We're going to come to seated, lean back onto the hands. We want to widen the feet, drop the knees together, and let's make that windshield wiper movement again. And then when you're ready, you can just maybe start from the hands and knees again. I always find that's the easiest way to get in and out of this pose. Okay. We're going to slide our left knee towards the left wrist to the left side of our bolster and blanket setup. Walk back into your right leg as far as you can. We're going to take that bolster close up underneath the abdomen, as far up underneath the belly as you can, and then begin to lay down over the bolster and the blanket. And this time we're going to turn our head to the left. If you need any more props, maybe underneath the outer hip, you can, but I always think that if we can get our bolster close underneath the abdomen, like the right side of my belly is actually resting on the bolster, and I feel totally supported. I could probably go deeper, but again, with yin yoga, we don't want to go to our first edge. We just want to go to that appropriate depth to the first edge. And just be still. And hold it for a little bit of time. And just softening into whatever arises, and maybe nothing comes up, and that's perfect. Or maybe it feels as if we're opening up the floodgates. And again, that's perfect. This time on our mat is safe. It's sacred. And we get a chance to really just explore what it's like to remain calm. Anchor into the breath as those waves of emotion or resistance come up. Remembering that as we start to make the effort, positive change, things will come up. It's normal. It's normal in our human existence. But remembering that our ultimate goal is to be happy, be at peace, to end suffering. Maybe this is a good time to even reassess what those changes are that you're looking to make, and if they truly serve your highest good. Let's come up slowly. Super slow. It's the same way we came into it. And again, we're going to just roll to the left hip. You can slide your setup out of your way and slowly bring your right knee in. We're going to lean back onto the hands and make that windshield wiper movement. Right. Let's do one more thing, okay? So I really want to open up the belly just one more time. So let's use our blocks now. And we can slide our bolster pillow setup over to the side. Okay, so I'm going to take one of my blocks and I'm going to lay it horizontal across the mat. I'm going to take the other block and I'm going to turn it vertical. So as I turn away from the blocks, I'm going to hold on to this bottom block because we want to recline back over the blocks in a supported fish pose. This bottom block, we want it just below the shoulder blades, so right across the back of the rib cage. We don't want it low in the lumbar spine. We don't want it up too high so that the shoulder blades are sitting on the block. We want it right beneath the shoulder blades. So I always hold the block as I lay back, just so that way it doesn't like slip out underneath me. And then you can kind of adjust your block as you begin to lay back. This top block is to support the back of the skull. So just let your head lay back and rest on that top block. Okay, you can keep your knees bent, feet on the ground. You can open out your arms and your hands. You can straighten out into the legs if that feels okay. But I want you to think about really opening up the abdomen and the front of the body. And let's just breathe into there. Nice extension for the spine. We're just going to be here maybe a minute or two, not as long as we've held some of the other poses, just long enough to just open up the abdomen, open up the windows, and we can let fresh air flow beneath the diaphragm, above the pelvis, so really into that solar plexus area. See if you can relax just a little bit more onto the blocks. And let the blocks support your body in this shape. So let's come out of this nice and slow. Anchor down with your forearms. You can bend into the knees. And it's almost as if we come out of it the same way that we came in. So anchor with your hands, lift your head, bring your chin to the chest, and we're just going to sit up in a neutral spine. Stretch your legs out in front of you. You can use your hands next to the hips and just pause in staff pose, Dandasana. Really activate, lift the low back and the belly. Chin down so that we're in this long, tall, neutral spine. Just pause here. We'll take our blocks and we're just going to move them off of the mat now. And slowly come into Shavasana. which we do in yoga, just as we would with any other practice. Go ahead and lay down on your back. We're going to let the whole body relax here. The arms and legs may open out just a little bit more. And just lay back onto the earth. We're going to take a few minutes to let everything relax even more. And just continue this practice of non-doing. Just notice how good it feels to rest in this running stream of time. And even though the whole world may be swirling and spinning, it's okay for you to take a moment of stillness. And this is actually a wonderful way to balance out that high energy and the expectations that society has put on us. Just relax. Just continue to relax here for just a little bit longer. See if you can let go just one more layer. Just one more layer of relaxation. So please take your time and slowly begin to just deepen the breath. Just reawaken in a very calm way that just feels really, really good. You can start to move your hands and your feet. You can bring your knees into the chest and maybe do a little rock side to side, which will probably feel really, really nice. You're going to lower your feet down and please roll to your left side and come up into a comfortable seat. And slide that folded blanket underneath your hips. Just elevate the hips a few inches. And I want you to relax your hands down onto your legs, but roll your palms to face up. And just soften into your shoulders. Lift your heart. Close your eyes. And bring a little smile across your face. Notice your breath in and out of the nose. And sense the feeling in the hands and the fingertips, as if you're holding energy. And what I want you to feel that you are holding right now is trust. And really trusting in yourself and the choices and the decisions that you are making every day are going to be ones that move you towards that positive change. That you know what is best for you. You know what you need to do. And you have this confidence that just flows naturally. And you're now at the stage in life that you can just trust yourself. You are smart. You are confident. You're happy. You attract abundance of not just money, but goodness. See if you can feel that on your hands and in your fingertips right now. Just hold that energy. You deserve all of that and more. So I want you to feel as if you are gathering that energy and joining the right and left hands to bring it into your heart. Almost like you're joining the two energies now into one, like you're joining your earthly and spiritual self. You are just feeling that sense of balance and equilibrium within you, all around you, and in all aspects of your life. Thank you. Namaste.